The Psychology of Achievement. Welcome to Audiobooks Journal YouTube channel. Who is this book for? This book is for anyone who knows deep down they're capable of more, but feels stuck in the same cycle of routine. It's for the dreamers who are tired of only dreaming and finally want to start doing. It's for the go-getters who have goals, but need the tools and mindset to push through setbacks and stay consistent. It's for students chasing better grades, professionals aiming for the next big step in their career, entrepreneurs building something out of nothing, and everyday people who just want to wake up every morning with more energy, clarity, and purpose. If you've ever thought, I know I can do better, but I don't know where to start, this book is for you. If you've ever felt like failure defines you, this book will help you flip that belief on its head. If you've been waiting for permission to go after what you want, here it is. This book is not about quick hacks or overnight success. It's about rewiring your mind for achievement, step by step, so success stops being a random event and starts being your natural state. So whether you're 18 or 80, whether you're chasing your first big win or your next breakthrough, this book is for you. Because achievement isn't for the chosen few, it's for anyone willing to show up, stay consistent, and refuse to settle. Chapter 1. Unlock your inner drive. Success doesn't start with luck, connections, or even talent. It starts with drive. That burning energy inside you that refuses to let you give up, that whispers to you when no one else is watching, that force that keeps you going long after others have quit. Drive is the fuel of achievement. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas stay buried, and even the most capable people end up standing still. With it, you can move mountains, rewrite your story, and make what seemed impossible feel inevitable. But here's the truth most people miss. Inner drive isn't something you're born with or without. It's not reserved for a special group of people who seem naturally motivated all the time. Drive is built. It's developed through awareness, habits, choices, and the way you train your mind. And once you learn how to unlock it, you'll never need to wait for inspiration to strike. You'll know how to ignite it yourself, whenever you need it. So let's dive into how to discover, build, and unleash that unstoppable force within you. The myth of motivation. People often say, I'm just not motivated, as if motivation is a magical feeling that randomly shows up. But motivation is unreliable. If you wait for it, you'll spend most of your life waiting. Motivation fades when things get tough, when progress is slow, or when distractions tempt you. That's why the key to achievement isn't motivation, it's drive. Drive is deeper. Drive is what you tap into when you're tired, when things aren't going your way, when failure stings. Drive comes from knowing why you're doing something and refusing to stop until you reach it. Motivation gets you started. Drive keeps you going. Motivation is like a spark. Drive is the engine. And when you learn how to unlock your inner drive, you stop being at the mercy of moods or circumstances. You take control. Find your why. The first step to unlocking your drive is finding your why. Ask yourself, why do you want to achieve more? Why do you want success, growth, or change? Your answer has to go deeper than I want more money or I want to be successful. Those are surface level. Your true why is emotional, personal, and powerful enough to push you forward even when everything feels like it's against you. For example, maybe your why is giving your family a better life. Maybe it's proving to yourself that you're capable of more. Maybe it's freedom, impact, or leaving a legacy. Whatever it is, it must feel so important to you that quitting is not an option. Here's the thing, when your why is strong enough, the how becomes easier. You'll find the strength to wake up earlier, stay focused longer, and keep moving when others stop. That's the power of clarity. So take time to ask yourself, what's the real reason I want this? Write it down. Keep it close. That's the foundation of your drive. Build discipline over excuses. Once you know your why, the next step is discipline. Drive without discipline is like a car without wheels. It doesn't matter how much fuel you have, you won't move. Discipline means doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing progress over comfort, action over procrastination, long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. Here's the truth. Discipline isn't about being perfect or never slipping up. It's about showing up more often than not, about getting back on track faster every time you fall. The people who achieve extraordinary results aren't those who never fail. They're those who refuse to let failure stop them. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your drive. Every time you follow through on your promises to yourself, you build trust in your own word. And over time, discipline becomes automatic. You stop asking yourself whether you feel like doing something, you just do it, because it's who you are. Turn pain into power. One of the most powerful sources of drive comes from pain. Think about it. How many times in your life have you pushed harder because you are fed up with the way things were? Pain is a signal. It tells you something needs to change. Instead of running from it, use it. Maybe you're tired of struggling financially. Maybe you're sick of feeling stuck in the same job. Maybe you're done with doubting yourself. Whatever it is, let that frustration fuel you. Say to yourself, never again. Let the pain of staying the same outweigh the fear of change. That's when people transform. History is full of stories of people who rose from rock bottom to greatness because they decided they couldn't stay where they were. They turned their pain into a reason to fight, and that fight became their drive. You can do the same. Surround yourself with energy. No one achieves greatness alone. Your environment matters. If you surround yourself with people who complain, doubt, and settle for less, your drive will fade. But if you surround yourself with energy, ambition, and positivity, your drive will grow. Look around at the people in your life. Do they push you to do better, or do they pull you back? Do they remind you of your potential, or do they make you question it? Be intentional about your circle. Seek out people who inspire you, who are already living the way you want to live, who won't let you give up when things get hard. Energy is contagious. Protect yours and choose wisely where you get it from. Focus on progress, not perfection. Another key to unlocking your drive is learning to value progress over perfection. Too many people quit because they're not perfect, because they stumble, because the results don't come as fast as they hoped. But achievement isn't about being perfect. It's about moving forward, step by step. When you focus on progress, every small win matters. Every time you show up, every bit of effort, every lesson learned, it all counts. That sense of progress keeps your drive alive. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Remember, small steps every day compound into big results. Drive grows stronger when you see yourself moving forward, no matter how small the step is. Visualize the life you want. Your brain is wired to follow the pictures you feed it. If all you focus on is failure, struggle, and what could go wrong, that's where your energy will go. But if you consistently visualize the life you want, the success, the freedom, the confidence, you program your mind to move toward it. Visualization isn't daydreaming. It's training your brain to believe in what's possible. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding, your mind starts working toward making it real. And when challenges come, that vision keeps you anchored. The clearer you see it, the stronger your drive becomes. Create rituals that ignite you. Drive doesn't come out of nowhere. You need daily rituals that prime your energy and focus. Whether it's exercising in the morning, journaling your goals, practicing gratitude, or repeating affirmations, find what lights you up and make it a habit. These rituals act like switches that turn on your drive. They remind you of your why, align your focus, and give you momentum to attack the day. Consistency is key. When you build rituals, you stop relying on random motivation. You create your own energy. Embrace the long game. One of the biggest killers of drive is expecting quick results. Achievement takes time. The people who win aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who stay in the game long enough to reap the rewards. When you commit to the long game, setbacks don't break you. Slow progress doesn't discourage you. Instead, you see every step as part of the journey. That mindset keeps your drive alive. You stop chasing instant gratification and start building lasting success. The fire within you. At the end of the day, unlocking your inner drive is about remembering that the fire is already inside you. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need anyone else to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. What you need is to stop waiting and start acting. To stop doubting and start moving. To stop making excuses and start building momentum. Your inner drive grows stronger every time you take a step forward, every time you honor your commitments, every time you refuse to quit. And once you unlock it, nothing can hold you back. Not failure, not fear, not circumstances. Because drive is stronger than all of them. So today, make the decision. Find your why. Build your discipline. Use your pain. Choose your environment. Celebrate progress. See your future. Commit to the long game. And most importantly, trust that you already have what it takes. Achievement isn't for the lucky. It's for the driven. And your drive is waiting for you to unlock it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. If you'd like, you can also support me through the link in the description. This really helps me create more content for you. Thank you. Chapter 2. Build habits that lead to success. Success is not built on one-time actions or lucky breaks. It's built on habits. The small things you do every single day create the foundation of the life you live. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That's why the people who consistently achieve great things aren't necessarily the most talented, the smartest, or the most connected. They're the ones who have built habits that make success inevitable. Habits are powerful because they run on autopilot. Once a habit is formed, you no longer need to think about it. It just happens. That means the habits you choose can either push you forward toward your dreams or quietly pull you away from them without you even realizing it. Success is never an accident. It's the result of intentional habits repeated over time. This chapter is about building those habits. The ones that give you the discipline, focus, energy, and clarity to achieve at the highest level. Let's break down how to create habits that don't just stick, but actually transform your life. Why habits matter more than willpower. Most people fail to reach their goals because they rely too much on willpower. Willpower is limited. It's like a battery. It drains as the day goes on. That's why you can resist temptation in the morning, but give in by the evening. Habits, on the other hand, don't require constant willpower. Once something becomes a habit, it takes less effort to do it than to avoid it. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to summon motivation every morning, you just do it. That's the power of habits. When you turn the right actions into habits, success becomes automatic. You no longer need to fight yourself every day. Your habits do the heavy lifting. The secret isn't to force yourself to work harder. The secret is to design your life in a way where the right actions happen without resistance. That's the difference between chasing success and building a lifestyle that produces it naturally. Start small, aim big. One of the biggest mistakes people make when building habits is trying to change everything at once. They decide they're going to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym daily, meditate, read for an hour, eat perfectly, and write a book, all starting Monday. That level of ambition feels exciting at first, but it's not sustainable. Within a week, they burn out and the cycle of guilt and failure begins again. The key to building lasting habits is starting small. Make the habit so easy at first that you can't say no. Want to start exercising? Begin with 10 minutes a day. Want to start reading? Commit to 5 pages. Want to practice gratitude? Write down one thing you're grateful for. When you lower the barrier to starting, you build consistency. And consistency is everything. Over time, those small habits expand. 10 minutes becomes 30. 5 pages become 50. One act of gratitude becomes a mindset of abundance. Small beginnings create massive change when repeated daily. Anchor new habits to existing ones. Habits stick best when they're connected to something you already do. This is called habit stacking. Instead of trying to create a habit out of thin air, you attach it to a routine that's already automatic. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 2 minutes. After I pour my morning coffee, I'll write down my top 3 priorities for the day. After I finish dinner, I'll take a 10-minute walk. This works because your brain loves patterns. By linking a new habit to an old one, you make it easier to remember and harder to ignore. Over time, the two become fused, and your new habit becomes just as natural as the old one. Environment shapes habits. If you've ever wondered why some habits are so hard to build, look around you. Your environment plays a massive role in shaping your behavior. If you're surrounded by distractions, unhealthy food, or negativity, you're fighting an uphill battle. But if you design your environment to make good habits easy and bad habits hard, success becomes much simpler. Want to eat healthier? Keep fruit and water visible and hide junk food. Want to work out more? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow so you can't go to bed without picking it up. Your environment should act like a silent coach that constantly nudges you toward the person you want to become. Change your surroundings and you'll change your habits. Change your habits and you'll change your life. Replace, don't just remove. One reason people struggle to break bad habits is because they try to eliminate them without replacing them. Nature hates a vacuum. If you remove a habit, something will fill its place, and unless you're intentional, it might be another unhelpful behavior. The smarter approach is to replace. If you want to stop scrolling endlessly on your phone, replace that time with reading or journaling. If you want to stop snacking late at night, replace the habit with drinking tea or stretching. By giving your brain and body a positive alternative, you're less likely to slide back into the old pattern. Breaking habits isn't about willpower, it's about building better systems. Replace the old with the new, and you'll naturally transition into healthier patterns. Identity-based habits. The strongest habits come from your identity. If you only focus on the outcome, like losing weight or making money, your habits will fade when the initial motivation wears off. But when you tie your habits to the person you want to become, they stick. For example, instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, say, I'm the type of person who doesn't skip workouts. Instead of saying, I want to read more, say, I'm the type of person who learns something every day. When your habits become part of your identity, they no longer feel like chores. They feel like expressions of who you are. Every time you follow through, you reinforce that identity, and it becomes harder to break. Track and celebrate progress. What gets measured gets managed. When you track your habits, you bring awareness to your progress, and that awareness fuels consistency. Keep a simple log of the habits you're building. Check off every day you complete them. That visual progress creates momentum. You won't want to break the streak. But here's the other piece: celebrate. Too many people overlook their small wins because they're focused only on the end goal. But celebrating progress keeps your brain engaged. When you reward yourself, even with something small like acknowledging your effort, you reinforce the behavior. Success isn't built on one giant leap. It's built on hundreds of small steps. Celebrate each one, and your drive to keep going will multiply. Morning habits that set the tone. Your mornings shape your entire day. That's why high achievers protect their mornings and fill them with habits that give them clarity, focus, and energy. You don't need a complicated tower routine. But you do need intentional habits that prime you for success. Examples include waking up at a consistent time, exercising or moving your body, practicing gratitude or journaling, reviewing your goals and setting priorities, reading or listening to something inspiring. These simple actions send a message to your brain: today matters. And when you start the day with momentum, that momentum carries forward into everything else you do. Evening habits that keep you grounded. Just as mornings set the tone, evenings close the loop. Your evening habits determine the quality of your rest, and rest determines the quality of your performance. Create an evening routine that helps you wind down and prepare for tomorrow. That might include unplugging from screens, reflecting on the day, writing down what you achieved, and planning your top priorities for the next day. A strong evening routine gives you peace of mind and sets you up to start fresh the next morning without stress. Habits compound like interest. The most powerful thing about habits is the way they compound. One good habit leads to another. Exercising regularly gives you more energy, which improves your focus at work, which increases your success, which builds your confidence, which motivates you to keep going. It works the same way in the negative direction. One bad habit leads to another. Staying up too late leads to waking up tired, which makes you skip your workout, which lowers your energy, which leads to poor decisions, which creates more stress. That's why habits are so critical. They set off a chain reaction that shapes your entire life. The sooner you build positive ones, the sooner you shift the trajectory of your future. Be patient with the process. Here's the reality: building habits takes time. Research shows it can take anywhere from 21 to 66 days for a habit to become automatic. That means you need patience. Too many people quit because they don't see instant results. But if you stick with it, those small actions will become second nature. Think of habits like planting seeds. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree overnight. You water it, you nurture it, and eventually it grows roots and becomes unshakable. Your habits are the same. Trust the process. Building habits that last a lifetime. At the end of the day, habits are the foundation of your success. They're the invisible architecture that shapes your future. You don't need to make giant changes overnight. You need small, consistent actions that align with the person you want to become. Start small, but stay consistent. Anchor new habits to existing ones. Shape your environment to support your goals. Replace the bad with the good. Focus on identity, not just outcomes. Track your progress and celebrate your wins. Protect your mornings and evenings. Be patient with the process, knowing that every small step compounds into something extraordinary. Your future isn't determined by what you occasionally do, it's determined by what you repeatedly do. Build the right habits, and you'll build the life you've always wanted. So don't wait. Today, choose one habit that aligns with your vision. Start small, stick with it, and let the compounding power of habits take over. Because once your habits start working for you instead of against you, success becomes inevitable. Chapter 3. Turn failures into powerful lessons. Failure. The very word makes most people shrink back. It carries weight, shame, and fear. For many, failure feels like the end of the road, proof that they weren't good enough or strong enough. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of growth. It's not proof that you can't succeed. It's proof that you tried. And trying is the first step toward winning. Every successful person you admire has failed. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. The difference is they didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They saw failure not as a wall, but as a stepping stone, not as a reason to quit, but as a reason to adjust. That's the real secret. Failure is feedback. And when you learn how to turn failures into lessons, you transform setbacks into setups for success. Why we fear failure. From an early age, most of us are conditioned to avoid failure. In school, mistakes mean bad grades. At work, mistakes can mean criticism. In life, mistakes are often tied to embarrassment. We grow up believing that failure equals weakness, so we do everything possible to avoid it. But avoiding failure means avoiding growth. If you never fail, you're not stretching yourself. You're staying in your comfort zone, playing it safe, doing only what you already know. And comfort never produces greatness. Fear of failure is really fear of judgment, fear of what others will think, fear of disappointing ourselves, fear of proving our doubts right. But when you realize that failure is part of the journey, not proof of your limits, the fear begins to lose its grip. Failure as a teacher. Failure has a unique power. It teaches lessons that success never can. Success feels good, but it rarely pushes you to analyze, adjust, and grow. Failure forces you to reflect. It shines a light on what didn't work, what needs to change, and where you can improve. Think of failure as a coach. It doesn't whisper sweet encouragements. It gives you tough, raw feedback. It tells you the truth, even when it stings. But if you're willing to listen, you'll learn more from failure than from any book, lecture, or seminar. The people who grow the fastest are those who embrace failure as part of their training. They don't hide from it. They study it. They ask, what is this trying to teach me? What can I do differently next time? That mindset transforms every stumble into an upgrade. Reframe failure. The key to turning failure into a lesson is reframing it. Instead of asking, why did I fail? Ask, what did I learn? Instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, think, I just discovered one way that doesn't work. Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That perspective allowed him to keep going until he created the light bulb. Imagine if he had stopped after his first 100 attempts. The world might still be in the dark. Reframing is powerful because it shifts failure from being an identity to being an event. You didn't fail because you are a failure. You failed because you tried something and it didn't work yet. And yet makes all the difference. Failure builds resilience. Every time you fail and get back up, you build resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly, to bounce back stronger after being knocked down. And resilience is one of the most valuable traits you can have on the path to achievement. Life will throw challenges at you. Goals will take longer than expected. Plans will fall apart. People will doubt you. Without resilience, those obstacles will break you. With resilience, they'll shape you. Think of resilience like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Failure gives you the chance to exercise that muscle. Every comeback makes you tougher, wiser, and more determined. Eventually, failure stops scaring you because you've proven to yourself that no matter what happens, you can rise again. Failure reveals character. How you handle failure says more about you than how you handle success. Success can make anyone look confident. Failure strips away the surface and reveals what's underneath. Do you give up or do you adapt? Do you blame others or do you take responsibility? Do you shrink or do you rise? Greatness is forged in the moments when everything goes wrong and you choose to keep going. Those moments define your character. They show you and the world what you're really made of. Learning to fail forward. Failing forward means using failure as a springboard, not a setback. It's about falling, but falling in the direction of progress. Each time you fail, you're not back at square one. You're one step ahead, armed with new information and experience. Athletes do this all the time. They study their losses, review their mistakes, and adjust their strategy. That's why they come back stronger for the next game. You can do the same in life. Treat every failure as data. Use it to refine your approach. Let it push you forward instead of holding you back. The power of persistence. The biggest reason people fail is not because they don't have talent or opportunity. It's because they stop too soon. They quit when things get hard, when results take longer than expected, when failure stings too much. But persistence separates the average from the extraordinary. Every successful entrepreneur, artist, athlete, or leader you admire persisted through countless failures. They refused to let a no, a mistake, or a setback end their story. They kept showing up again and again until success had no choice but to meet them. Failure plus persistence equals progress. Every setback you survive builds the path forward. Persistence ensures that failure is temporary, not permanent. Practical steps to learn from failure. Turning failure into a powerful lesson isn't just about mindset, it's also about strategy. Here are some practical steps. 1. Pause and reflect. Don't rush past failure. Take time to ask what happened, why it happened, and what you can learn. 2. Take responsibility. Avoid blaming others or circumstances. Own your part in it because responsibility gives you control. 3. Extract the lesson. Write down at least one thing the failure taught you. 4. Adjust your approach. Use the lesson to refine your next move. 5. Try again. Don't let analysis turn into paralysis. Learn, adapt, and act quickly. Failure becomes valuable only if you use it. Reflection plus action is what turns failure into fuel. Stories of failure turned into success. History is filled with examples of people who turned failures into stepping stones. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job for lacking imagination. His first company went bankrupt. Yet he kept creating and eventually built one of the most iconic brands in the world. Oprah Winfrey was once told she wasn't fit for television. Today, she's one of the most influential media figures in history. Michael Jordan, often considered the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of quitting, he used that failure to fuel his relentless work ethic. These stories remind us that failure doesn't mean the end. It means you're still in the fight. And if you keep going, success is still possible. The gift of failure. Failure may not feel like a gift when you're in it, but looking back, you'll see it often gives you exactly what you needed. It teaches humility. It sharpens focus. It forces growth. It reveals strengths you didn't know you had. Many people later say that their greatest failures were turning points that led them to their greatest successes. The job they lost pushed them into their dream career. The rejection that broke them led to an opportunity that fit better. The failure that crushed them became the foundation of their resilience. Failure feels painful in the moment, but it plants seeds of wisdom and strength that blossom later. Redefine success and failure. Here's a radical idea. What if failure isn't the opposite of success, but part of it? Every failure is a step on the staircase of achievement. Success is not a straight line. It's a zigzag of attempts, mistakes, corrections, and comebacks. Redefine failure as progress. Redefine success as persistence. When you adopt this mindset, Nothing can stop you. Every outcome becomes valuable. You either win or you learn. Either way, you move forward. From failure to fuel. At the end of the day, failure is fuel. It's energy. It's feedback. It's proof that you dared to try, that you're in the arena while others are still sitting in the stands. Most people never fail because they never attempt anything worth failing at. The fact that you failed means you're chasing something bigger than yourself. So the next time you stumble, don't hide from it. Don't label yourself as broken. Stand up, dust yourself off, and say, "This is not where my story ends. This is where it gets interesting." Use the failure to sharpen your skills, to deepen your resolve, to ignite your drive. Because the truth is, failure only defeats you if you let it. If you use it, it becomes your greatest ally. So embrace your failures. Study them. Think them. Learn from them. And then rise, stronger than before. Turn every failure into a lesson, every lesson into action, and every action into progress. That's how you transform setbacks into comebacks. That's how you build a life of achievement. Chapter 4. Master the art of focus and discipline. Focus and discipline are the twin engines of achievement. Talent can get you started, ambition can ignite your spark, but without focus and discipline, your energy scatters, your motivation fades, and your goals remain distant dreams. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to accomplish so much with the same 24 hours you have, the answer almost always comes down to this. They have learned to direct their attention like a laser and stick to the path when things get tough. The good news is that focus and discipline are not traits you're either born with or not. They're skills, and like any skill, they can be practiced, sharpened, and mastered. This chapter is about taking control of your attention, building the habits that keep you steady, and developing the mental strength to follow through even when distractions scream for your time and excuses whisper in your ear. Let's dive deep into how you can master this art and make focus and discipline your superpowers. Why focus matters more than ever. We live in a world that is constantly pulling at our attention. Every ding from your phone, every scroll through social media, every breaking news notification chips away at your ability to stay locked in. It's no wonder people feel overwhelmed. We've mistaken busyness for productivity, multitasking for achievement, and distraction for connection. But here's the truth. Focus is the ultimate competitive advantage. When you learn to give your energy to the right task at the right time, you immediately separate yourself from the majority of people who live in a haze of distraction. Focus is about clarity, knowing what deserves your attention and ruthlessly cutting out what doesn't. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily smarter or luckier. They are simply better at protecting their attention. They treat focus like a precious resource because it is. Discipline, the backbone of success. If focus is knowing what to give your attention to, discipline is staying with it long enough to see results. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. It is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. Think of discipline as the muscle of achievement. You don't build it by accident. You build it through consistent training. Every time you show up when you'd rather quit, every time you resist the temptation to procrastinate, every time you choose long-term rewards over short-term comfort, you strengthen that muscle. Discipline isn't glamorous, and it rarely feels exciting in the moment. But it's the quiet force that compounds over time, turning small, repeated efforts into massive results. The myth of motivation. Many people believe they need to feel motivated before they can focus or be disciplined. This is a dangerous myth. Motivation is great when it shows up, but it's unreliable. It comes in bursts, fades quickly, and cannot be counted on for the long haul. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about your mood. Discipline is showing up even when motivation has abandoned you. It's dragging yourself to the gym when your bed is warm, opening the book when Netflix is calling, writing one more page when your brain says you're done. If you learn to rely on discipline instead of waiting for motivation, you'll win every time. Practical steps to build focus. So how do you actually strengthen your ability to focus? Here are powerful strategies to help you sharpen your attention. 1. Eliminate distractions. You cannot focus in a chaotic environment. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Create a dedicated workspace if possible. Block distracting websites during your most important work. Every distraction you eliminate is like removing a leak from your energy bucket. 2. Practice deep work. Set aside chunks of time to work deeply on one task without interruption. Even 90 minutes of deep, focused work can be more productive than an entire day of multitasking. Train your brain to stay with a problem until it's solved. 3. Prioritize ruthlessly. Not all tasks are created equal. Identify the few that actually move you closer to your goals and give them your best energy. Stop wasting your focus on things that don't matter. 4. Use the power of small wins. Break big projects into smaller steps. Each completed step gives you momentum, which makes it easier to focus on the next. Focus thrives on progress. 5. Train your attention like a muscle. Just like lifting weights strengthens your body, practicing focus strengthens your mind. Start small, maybe 10 minutes of uninterrupted focus, and gradually increase it. Building the habit of discipline. Discipline is not built overnight. It is the result of small, daily choices. Here's how to strengthen your discipline step by step. 1. Start with clear commitments. Vague intentions lead to weak discipline. Instead of saying, "I'll exercise more," say, "I'll run for 20 minutes every morning at 7 a.m. Specific commitments create accountability. 2. Remove temptations. Don't rely on willpower alone. Make it easier to stay disciplined by removing obstacles. If you want to eat healthy, keep junk food out of the house. If you want to read more, keep a book on your nightstand instead of your phone. 3. Embrace the power of routine. Discipline becomes easier when actions become automatic. Build routines around your goals so you don't have to think about them. You just do them. Morning routines, evening routines, and work rituals can all help automate discipline. 4. Reward consistency, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect to be disciplined. What matters is showing up consistently. Celebrate progress and keep going, even if you slip occasionally. 5. Practice delayed gratification. Train yourself to choose long-term benefits over short-term pleasures. The more you practice delaying gratification, the stronger your discipline becomes. The synergy of focus and discipline. Focus without discipline is wasted potential. Discipline without focus is wasted effort. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. Imagine pouring all your attention into a clearly defined goal, focus, and then showing up day after day no matter what discipline. That combination is the essence of mastery. It's how athletes break records, how entrepreneurs build empires, how writers finish books, and how everyday people transform their lives. Stories of focus and discipline in action. History is filled with examples of ordinary people achieving extraordinary results through focus and discipline. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but his discipline kept him experimenting, and his focus on the problem never wavered. Serena Williams didn't become one of the greatest athletes of all time because she felt motivated every day. She built unshakable routines and stayed focused on her craft for decades. Even in business, leaders like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett demonstrate the power of these traits. Buffett spends the majority of his time reading and thinking, deep focus, while Musk is relentless in his disciplined pursuit of innovation, often working harder and longer than anyone else on his team. These stories remind us that greatness is rarely about genius. It's about narrowing your attention, sticking with it, and refusing to let distractions or excuses derail you. Overcoming common challenges. Of course, mastering focus and discipline isn't easy. You'll face obstacles along the way, but each one can be overcome. Procrastination. Break tasks into smaller steps and commit to starting with just one. Action creates momentum, and momentum destroys procrastination. Distractions. Create an environment that minimizes interruptions. Communicate boundaries to those around you. Your time is valuable, treat it that way. Burnout. Focus and discipline don't mean working nonstop. Rest and recovery are part of the process. Use your focus to give your best effort during work and your discipline to step away when it's time to recharge. Negative self-talk. Replace "I can't focus" with "I am training my focus every day." Replace "I have no discipline" with "I am building discipline one choice at a time." Your words shape your reality. Turning focus and discipline into lifestyle. The goal is not just to have bursts of focus and discipline when you feel like it, but to turn them into part of who you are. When focus becomes your default mode and discipline your natural response, achievement stops being a struggle and becomes inevitable. You do this by embedding them into your identity. Stop saying, "I'm trying to be more disciplined." Start saying, "I am a disciplined person." Stop saying, "I hope I can focus." Start saying, "I am someone who focuses deeply." Identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes results. Final thoughts. Focus and discipline are the foundation stones of achievement. They may not be flashy, but they are powerful. They separate those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. They are the skills that carry you through when motivation disappears, when distractions multiply, when the path feels endless. If you want to create extraordinary results in your life, don't chase shortcuts. Master the art of focus and discipline. Protect your attention like it's gold, because it is. Build your discipline like a muscle, because it's the strength that will carry you to the finish line. When you learn to harness these two forces, you stop being at the mercy of your environment and start shaping your destiny. You stop drifting through life and start driving it. You stop settling for average and start creating excellence. Focus sharpens your vision. Discipline keeps you moving. Together, they make you unstoppable. Chapter 5. Celebrate progress, not just results. In the pursuit of achievement, it's easy to get caught up in the big finish line. We convince ourselves that we'll only be happy when we reach the goal, land the promotion, finish the degree, build the business, or hit the target weight. We condition our minds to believe that life is a waiting game, only worth celebrating when the trophy is in our hands. But here's the truth. If you only celebrate results, you're missing out on the very fuel that makes success sustainable. Progress, not perfection. not the end point, is what creates momentum. Every step forward, every improvement, every small win is evidence that you are moving closer to who you want to be. And if you learn to recognize and celebrate progress, you'll not only achieve more, but also enjoy the journey along the way. This chapter is about rewiring how you measure success. It's about shifting from an outcome-obsessed mindset to one that honors the process, values growth, and finds joy in the climb, not just the summit. Why celebrating progress matters. Celebrating progress is not just about feeling good. It has deep psychological and practical benefits. Human motivation thrives on recognition and reward. When your brain sees evidence that you're improving, it releases dopamine, a chemical that makes you feel good and reinforces the behavior that got you there. In simple terms, progress feels good, and feeling good makes you want to keep going. Without acknowledging progress, you risk falling into the trap of never feeling satisfied. You might reach the big result, but the victory is short-lived, and soon you're chasing the next milestone. This constant chasing without appreciating the steps along the way leads to burnout, frustration, and the sense that success is always out of reach.
When you celebrate progress, however, you create a cycle of motivation. You build confidence, you stay energized, and you develop resilience. Instead of quitting when the goal feels far away, you remind yourself that you're already on your way, and that matters. Redefining success. Most people define success by outcomes. Did I get the promotion?
Did I earn the money? Did I hit the goal? But the truth is, those outcomes are just markers in a much bigger journey. Success should be defined by progress, the consistent movement towards something meaningful. Ask yourself, are you better today than you were yesterday? Have you taken a step closer to your goal? Did you push through resistance, show up when you didn't want to, or learn something new? That is success. The big results will come, but they are simply the byproduct of countless small wins stacked on top of each other. When you redefine success as progress, you free yourself from the pressure of perfection. You stop waiting for permission to feel proud. You allow yourself to experience joy along the way, not just at the end. The power of small wins. Small wins are the building blocks of massive achievements. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but they accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Think about someone trying to write a book. Waiting until the book is finished to celebrate would be a huge mistake. Instead, every completed page, every solved problem, every breakthrough idea is a small win worth acknowledging. Each one brings them closer to the finish line. Or consider someone trying to get healthier. Losing 50 pounds might take a long time, but celebrating every pound lost, every workout completed, every healthier meal chosen builds confidence and creates the motivation to continue. When you celebrate small wins, you send yourself a powerful message. I am moving forward. I am capable. I am on track. That belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. How to celebrate progress the right way. Celebrating progress doesn't mean throwing a party every time you take a step. It means intentionally recognizing and rewarding your effort, improvement, and consistency. Here are practical ways to do it. 1. Track your progress. Keep a journal, chart, or app that records your daily wins. Seeing your growth visually is a powerful reminder that you're moving forward, even when the big results haven't arrived yet. 2. Create milestone rewards. Set mini goals along the way and reward yourself for hitting them. It could be something simple like treating yourself to a favorite meal, taking a day off, or buying something meaningful that represents your progress. 3. Share your wins. Tell a trusted friend, mentor, or community about your progress. Sharing creates accountability, and hearing someone else celebrate you reinforces your own progress. 4. Reflect regularly. Take time to look back at how far you've come. Too often we're so focused on the next step that we forget the distance we've already traveled. Reflection helps you appreciate the journey. 5. Use affirmations of growth. Instead of saying, "I'm not there yet," reframe it as, "I'm getting closer every day." Words shape perception, and perception shapes motivation. Avoiding the perfection trap. One of the biggest barriers to celebrating progress is perfectionism. Many people dismiss their progress because it's not good enough. They say things like, "Sure, I made progress, but I'm still not where I want to be." This mindset kills motivation. Progress is not about being perfect. It's about getting better. You don't need to compare yourself to an ideal version of you that doesn't exist yet. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, last week, or last year. That's the only measure that matters. Progress over perfection is the mantra of achievers. It's what keeps them moving while others get stuck waiting for the perfect time or the perfect result. Stories of progress in action. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said he didn't fail 10,000 times while inventing the light bulb. He simply found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Every failed experiment was progress because it brought him closer to the solution. Or take J.K. Rowling, who faced countless rejections before Harry Potter was finally published. Each rejection letter could have been seen as failure, but instead, she kept going, recognizing that every submission was progress toward her dream. These examples show us that progress often looks messy, incomplete, or even discouraging in the moment. But when you step back and recognize it for what it is, movement forward, you realize that progress is everything. The psychological shift from outcome to journey. When you focus only on results, you live in a constant state of not yet. You tell yourself, "I'll be happy when," and postpone your sense of achievement. But when you focus on progress, you allow yourself to feel successful right now. This doesn't mean you stop striving for big goals. It means you stop tying your self-worth to the end result. Instead, you tie it to the process, the actions you take, the growth you experience, the person you're becoming. This shift is powerful because it puts you in control. You can't always control outcomes. Sometimes circumstances, luck, or timing play a role. But you can always control your progress, your effort, your consistency, your choices. Overcoming the fear of slow progress. Another common obstacle is the fear that progress is too slow. You might feel frustrated that you're not moving fast enough or that others are achieving more quickly. But here's the truth, slow progress is still progress. Think of a glacier. It moves slowly, sometimes imperceptibly, but over time it reshapes entire landscapes. Your progress, no matter how small, is reshaping your life. When you're tempted to dismiss slow progress, remind yourself that consistency beats speed. The person who makes steady progress day after day will eventually surpass the person who sprints hard for a week and then quits. Turning progress into motivation. The more you celebrate progress, the more motivated you become. Progress creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. This cycle is what keeps you going through tough times. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you only focus on the peak, it feels overwhelming. But if you look back every so often and see how high you've already climbed, you feel stronger, more capable, and ready to keep going. That's the power of celebrating progress. It gives you the energy to continue the climb. Final thoughts. Achievement is not a single moment at the finish line. It is a collection of countless steps, choices, and efforts along the way. If you wait to celebrate until the end, you'll miss out on the richness of the journey. Celebrate progress, not just results. Celebrate showing up, trying again, improving, and moving forward. Celebrate the days you pushed through resistance, the lessons you learned from setbacks, the growth you can see when you look back. When you shift your mindset this way, achievement stops being a distant destination and becomes a daily reality. Every step forward becomes a victory. Every effort becomes a reason to feel proud. Progress is the heartbeat of achievement. Learn to recognize it, Honor it and celebrate it, and you'll not only achieve more, you'll enjoy the process far more deeply. And in the end, isn't that what life is about? Not just reaching the destination, but finding joy, growth, and meaning in every step of the way. Chapter 6. Keep growing and never settle. Achievement is not a final destination. It's not a trophy you place on a shelf and admire for the rest of your life. True achievement is a journey of continuous growth, constant learning, and a refusal to settle for good enough. The moment you decide that you've done enough, that you've reached the top, that there's no further to go, that's the moment you begin to decline. Life doesn't reward stagnation. It rewards those who keep stretching, reaching, and expanding. This chapter is about embracing a growth mindset, fueling your curiosity, and building a life where progress never stops. It's about realizing that your potential is far greater than you can currently imagine, and the only way to discover it is to keep growing and never settle. Why growth matters. Growth is the essence of being alive. Look around at nature. Trees grow, rivers carve deeper paths, animals adapt to their environment. Stagnation in nature usually means decline or death. The same is true for us. When you stop growing, you don't stay the same, you start losing your edge. Your skills get rusty, your mindset narrows, and your energy fades. On the other hand, when you commit to constant growth, you stay sharp, engaged, and energized. Growth brings excitement to life because there's always another level to reach, another skill to master, another challenge to take on. Growth also builds resilience. The more you push yourself into new territories, the more comfortable you become with discomfort. You develop confidence that no matter what happens, you can adapt, learn, and thrive. That confidence is priceless. The danger of settling. Settling is seductive. After all, you've worked hard, made progress, and maybe even achieved more than you once thought possible. It feels tempting to say, that's enough. I can stop here. But settling leads to regret. Years later, you look back and wonder what else you could have achieved if you had kept going. You wonder how much more potential was left untapped. Settling also makes you vulnerable. In a world that is constantly changing, standing still means falling behind. Technology, industries, and opportunities evolve every day. If you're not growing, you're getting left behind. Most importantly, settling robs you of the joy of discovery. There's nothing more fulfilling than realizing you're capable of more than you thought. That joy only comes from growth. The growth mindset. The key to lifelong growth is adopting what psychologists call a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities are not fixed, but can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and effort as the path to mastery. In contrast, a fixed mindset believes abilities are static. With a fixed mindset, people avoid challenges, give up easily, and see failure as proof that they're not capable. Settling often comes from a fixed mindset, the belief that you've reached your limit. By embracing a growth mindset, you train yourself to always look for ways to improve, learn, and expand. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "How can I?" That one shift changes everything. How to keep growing in every area of life. Growth is not limited to one area of life. You can and should pursue growth in multiple dimensions: your career, your relationships, your health, your mindset, and your contributions to the world. Here's how to keep growing across these areas. 1. Professional growth. Stay curious in your field. Keep learning new skills, seek mentors, and take on projects that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Never assume you've mastered everything. The most successful professionals are perpetual students. 2. Personal growth. Work on your character, your mindset, and your emotional intelligence. Read books, practice self-reflection, and surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you. Personal growth makes every other kind of growth possible. 3. Physical growth. Take care of your body. Push your limits with fitness, nutrition, and rest. A strong body fuels a strong mind. Physical growth also builds discipline that spills over into every area of your life. 4. Relationship growth. Learn how to listen better, communicate more effectively, and support those around you. Relationships thrive when both people commit to growing together. 5. Contribution growth. Ask yourself how you can give more, whether it's through mentoring, volunteering, or creating something that serves others. Contribution is the highest form of growth because it multiplies your impact. Practical steps to stay on the growth path. 1. Set new challenges. Never let yourself get too comfortable. As soon as you reach one goal, set another. The new challenge doesn't have to be bigger. It just has to stretch you in some way. 2. Learn continuously. Read widely, take courses, listen to podcasts, attend seminars. The moment you stop learning, you start shrinking. Make learning a daily habit. 3. Surround yourself with growers. The people around you influence your growth. Spend time with people who push you, inspire you, and hold you to a higher standard. 4. Embrace discomfort. Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. Get used to being uncomfortable. Seek out situations that scare you a little, because those are the ones that will grow you the most. 5. Reflect and adjust. Regularly ask yourself, where am I growing? Where am I settling? Be honest. Then adjust your actions to get back on the growth path. Stories of relentless growth. Think about athletes like Michael Jordan. Even at the peak of his career, he was the hardest worker in the room, always looking for ways to improve. He never settled for good enough. Or consider innovators like Steve Jobs. Even after building one of the most successful companies in the world, he kept pushing for new products, new designs, new ways of thinking. Settling was never an option. These examples remind us that greatness is never a one-time event. It's the result of constantly asking, what's next? How can I grow? The role of curiosity. One of the most powerful tools for lifelong growth is curiosity. Curiosity keeps you humble, open, and eager to explore. It pushes you to ask questions, seek new experiences, and look beyond your comfort zone. Children are naturally curious, but many adults lose that spark because they think they already know enough. To keep growing, you need to reignite your curiosity. Ask more questions. Try new things. Approach life with the excitement of a beginner. Growth through setbacks. Growth doesn't just happen through success. In fact, some of the greatest growth comes from setbacks and failures. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build resilience, learn lessons, and become stronger. When you fail, don't ask, why me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? With that perspective, even setbacks become fuel for growth. Avoiding the plateau. One danger in growth is the plateau, the point where you feel like you're no longer improving. Plateaus are normal, but they are not permanent. To break through a plateau, you need to change your approach. Try a new strategy, seek feedback, or push yourself into a different environment. Remember, plateaus are not signs that you've reached your limit. They're signs that you need to adjust. Growth as a lifestyle. The ultimate goal is to make growth part of who you are, not just something you do occasionally. Growth should become a lifestyle, a natural, automatic response to life. When growth is your lifestyle, you don't fear challenges because you see them as opportunities. You don't dread hard work because you know it makes you stronger. You don't settle for comfort because you know growth lives beyond it. Final thoughts. Achievement is not about reaching one final goal. It's about who you become along the way. It's about waking up each day with the intention to grow a little more, to learn a little more, to push yourself a little further. Keep growing and never settle. Celebrate what you've achieved, but don't stop there. Use your progress as fuel for the next step. Stay curious, stay hungry, and stay committed to becoming the best version of yourself. The world doesn't need people who settle. It needs people who keep expanding their potential, keep raising their standards, and keep inspiring others through their relentless pursuit of growth. That person can be you if you choose to never settle. So don't stop now. Don't settle for where you are. Keep growing. Keep stretching. Keep climbing. Because the best version of you is always waiting just beyond the edge of your comfort zone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. If you'd like, you can also support me through the link in the description. This really helps me create more content for you. Thank you.